Hello everyone, I am Asha Best. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you all are happy. My dear students, today I welcome you all in class 4 EVS, a new chapter we are going to start today. The chapter's name is The Land of India. So let's begin with this chapter. In this chapter, we are going to understand the position of our country, India, in the world. We'll also have knowledge about the 6 physical divisions of our country. So let's begin. India officially the Republic of India. It is a country in South Asia. It is the second most populous country and seventh largest country by land area and the most populous democracy in the world. When we talk about our country is a beautiful country and it is a huge country with many people living together at one place. Our country is located in the southern part of the continent Asia. Our country is the seventh largest country if we talk about the land area it covers, and when we talk about the population, as per the population, our country stands at second place in the world. Our country is a democratic country when where the actual power lies in the hands of common people. So it is purely a democratic country. It is the seventh largest country. As I said earlier also that our country is a vast country. From north to south, it stretches across about 3,200 kilometers, and from east to west, it stretches across about 3,000 kilometers. There are some of the water bodies which surrounds our country. These are the Arabian Sea in the west, the Bay of Bengal in the east, and the Indian Ocean in the south. India may be divided broadly into 6 physical units. The 6 physical units of India, the 6 physical features of our country rather, the great mountains of north, the Himalayan mountains. Just below exist the northern plains, the food bowl of India. Then after that, the peninsular plateau and coastal plains, the coastal regions, as well as the island groups. India, as I said earlier also, that our country is a beautiful country. We have different types of physical features here. Somewhere we have mountains. Those mountains protect us from the foreign invaders. We have vast plains. We have dry deserts also there, as well as most of the area covers thick forest also. There are hills, there are mountains, plains, deserts, rivers, and plateaus. They also increase the beauty of our country. So, broadly, if we say that our country is divided into 6 physical features, there are 6 physical features of our country, India. India is a federal union comprising 28 states. Now, if we talk about our country, we have 28 states and 8 union territories for a total of 36 entities. The states and union territories are further subdivided into districts and smaller administrative divisions. As earlier also I said that India is a vast country. It is completely a democratic country. So to make it functional in a proper way, it was necessary to divide it into small parts, and later on those small parts also divided into subdivisions. That is done so that the country can be functional easily. The smaller units can be seen or can be observed in an easy way rather than looking from one place to the whole country. It is quite difficult for the administrators. So now our country has 28 states and 8 union territories. Let's talk about the physical features of India in detail. We'll talk about these physical features one by one. As we all know that our country India is divided into 6 major geographical regions as follow. The first, the Great Himalayan Mountains. These exist towards the north of India. The Himalayas stretch across the northern eastern portion of India. The northeastern portion of India. They cover approximately 1500, or you can say 2400 kilometers, and pass through the nations of India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, China, Bhutan and Nepal. When we talk about the Himalayas, Himalayan mountain ranges are the highest mountain ranges in the world, and these are also known as the youngest mountain ranges. They extend, as I earlier also I said, that 1500 miles, or you can say 2400 kilometers, from northernmost to the northeastern part of India, right from the Jammu and Kashmir region towards the northeastern part of India. It contains the world's highest mountain peaks like Mount Everest. And if we talk about the Himalayan mountains, they have 3 parallel ranges. Now let's talk about these 3 parallel ranges in detail. Okay, first range of Himalayas is known as Himadri, or you can say the Greater Himalayas. Himadri is also known as Greater Himalayas. The Great Himalayas or Greater Himalayas probably is the highest mountain range of the Himalayan range system. Entities the range is within include Pakistan, China, India, Nepal and Tibet. When we talk about Greater Himalayas, it is towards the northernmost and the highest range of Himalayas. This region is very cold because this region is covered with snow throughout the year. Here one picture of Himadri range is also given here. I have given this picture for you all. You can see that these ranges are covered with snow throughout the year. So that is why this region is very cold. As these peaks are snow covered throughout the year, so this place is scarcely populated, and the vegetation found includes fir shrubs. These are the vegetation which are found here. And the areas, or you can say the countries, the ranges covers these following countries like Pakistan, China, India, Nepal and Tibet. Now let's talk about the Himachal or Middle Himalayas. The mountain range which runs parallel between the Shivaliks in the south and Great Himalayas in the north is classified as the Middle Himalaya, sometimes also called Himachal or Lower Himalaya. It has an intricate system of ranges which are 60 to 80 kilometer wide, having elevation varying from 3500 to 4500 meters above sea level. So when we talk about the Himachal ranges, these Himachal ranges lie towards the south of the Greater Himalayas. Just below the Greater Himalayas, the Himachal ranges exist, and the states which are covered here, the areas which are covered by Himachal ranges are Shimla, Nainital, Mussoorie, Darjeeling, Srinagar. These are the areas, these are the places which are covered by the Himachal region. These places attracts a lot of tourists. Tourists visit these places, these Himachal ranges throughout the year. These are the most attractive things on earth for the tourist. These places attract lots of tourists. Himachal has a thick vegetation of pine, oak, fir, devdar, spruce. Spruce. These are the vegetation, these are the trees found here in the Himachal region. Now let's discuss Shivalik or the outer Himalayas, or you can say the lesser Himalayas. Shivalik range, also called Shivalik Hills or outer Himalayas. Shivalik, also spelled Shivalik, sub-Himalayan range of the northern Indian subcontinent. These are the lowest range of Himalayas. These comprises different forest and land areas. These areas are very good for agriculture, for cultivation of different crops. In these areas, people follow terrace farming and they rear different kind of animals like sheep, goat are very common in this region. This region is neither too hot or not too cold. So that is why this is the most populated area. People live there because the life conditions are suitable to human beings. These regions are thickly populated. Most of the people live in these regions, this region. And there are a variety of animals and birds found here in Shivalik region. Different crops are grown here as the land areas are fertile and good for cultivation. So the crops which are grown here basically are rice, maize, potatoes, fruits. Different fruits are also grown here. This region is famous for its fruits. And animals which are found here like tiger, elephant and deer. These are the animals which are famous in Shivalik region. Then let's talk about the importance of Himalayas. The Himalayas save our country from the cold and dry winds of Central Asia. It also prevents the rain-laden monsoon winds of the Indian Ocean from crossing over to northern countries and causes heavy rainfall in northern India. Almost all the great rivers of India have their sources in the Himalayan ranges. Himalayas are very important for us. There is no doubt in this. These Himalayan ranges, they act as boundaries of our country and they always protect us from the foreign invasions. They protect us from the foreign, the people, the countries, those who are attacking us. Okay, they act as natural boundaries. They prevent the cold biting winds. They are huge, they are tall, so they prevent these winds coming to northern Asia. They protect us from extreme cold condition. These mountains stops these cold biting winds entering our country. They also stops the rain bearing monsoonal winds. Otherwise, there will be flood all over. Due to that, most of the northeastern part of India observes rainfall during or you can say throughout the year, not only in monsoon season but throughout the year. The melting snow of Himalayan glaciers provide water to our rivers throughout the year. As the Himalayas are covered with snow throughout the year, during the summer, the snow which is there in the Himalayan mountains, it starts melting. Because of that, most of the rivers get water because of Himalayas. Okay, so these Himalayan mountains fed our rivers with water throughout the year. That is why we don't have any scarcity of water. These are the natural source of water. The forest which are found here, they are a good source of natural resources. Like we get timber from these forests. There are many medicinal plants available in these forests, so we are provided with medicines because of these Himalayan ranges. They provide us honey, fruits, raisins. They all are the things which we get from the Himalayan mountains. They are the good source of all these important things which we use in our daily life. Now let's talk about the northern plains. The northern plains are an important physical division of India. They are situated to the south of the Himalayan regions. These plains are also known as the Indo-Gangetic plains. The northern plains are formed by the silt deposited by Himalayan rivers and their tributaries. Dear students, these northern plains lie between the Himalayas and the southern peninsula. Okay, later on we'll talk about the peninsular plateau also. So, if we talk about the northern plains, they exist in between the Himalayan mountains as well as the southern peninsula. They are very important for us as the plain have alluvial soil which is found here, which is good for cultivation, which is good for agriculture. That is why the northern plain is fertile. The main occupation of people living in this region is farming. They plow their fields, they make it fertile, and they grow different crops in these plains. Most of the people live in this place as this place is suitable for living. People find living conditions suitable for them here. Most of the people live, so that is why this area is densely populated. These areas include the valleys like Brahmaputra, Ganga, and Indus rivers, and their tributaries are also flow from here. Some of the important cities of northern plain are Allahabad, Delhi, and Varanasi. All these cities are located in the northern plains. The northern plain, as most of the crops of India is grown in this part of the region. That is why the northern plains are also known as food bowl of India. Importance of northern plains. The northern plains is a, you can say, this region is very important for all of us because there we find alluvial soil, the soil which is good for growing different kind of crop. That is why the soil found here is most fertile soil, as well as the climatic condition found here favors the crops as well as the human beings. These areas are basically flat, so that is why people find it suitable for living their life in these roads. The road network is well developed as these areas are plain, so people can reach this area easily using the roadways, the road transport as well as the railways. There are different rivers which flow right from the Himalayan mountains. These rivers carry silt and spread it in the northern plains. That is why this plain is very important for us. The soil which is found here in the northern plain is good for growing crops. That is why most of the people are settled here in the northern plains. This good network system of roadways provide facility of transporting things in a easy and smooth way. That is why the things which are produced here can be sent to other part of our country easily through the roadways as well as railways. Now let's talk about the desert region. The desert, also known as Great Indian Desert, arid region of rolling sand hills on the Indian subcontinent. It is located partly in Rajasthan state, northwestern India, and partly in Punjab and Sindh provinces, eastern Pakistan. The desert region is very famous. It is sandy region. We can find sand all around it. As I said that it is also known as the Great Indian Desert. This region is very dry and this region receives or observes very less amount of rainfall. That is why due to the less rainfall we find rare species of plants here. Thar Desert, this is Thar Desert which is found here. In this region, summers are very hot and winters are very cold. Both summer and winter, they are extreme. This region is not very densely populated. There is low population in this region because the life giving conditions are very rare in this region. The life of people, those who are living in this region, is very difficult as they have to go through lot many problems in their daily life. Why these desert areas are important for us? Despite having an extreme climatic condition, deserts are very important. They are providing us different development opportunities. Like mining is done in these areas, we get valuable minerals from these areas, and later on these minerals are obtained from mining, and after that they are sent to different factories, different industries, so that valuable things can be made out of these minerals. Now let's talk about the southern plateau. The Deccan Plateau is a large plateau in western and southern India. It rises to 100 meters in the north and to more than 1000 meters in the south, forming a raised triangle within the south pointing triangle of the Indian coastline. The southern part of India is a peninsula. When we talk about peninsula, it is a region which is higher than the ground. The southern plateaus, these plateaus cover most of the peninsular region of India. The plateau slopes downwards from west to east. Different rivers flow from here like Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. They flow into the Bay of Bengal, and the rivers like Narmada and Tapi, they flow into Arabian Sea. All these rivers have water throughout the year. They are the perennial rivers. There are many rivers in this region which are perennial river, like I said. The southern plateau is bordered on the east by hill ranges. They are bordered by the east hill ranges towards the eastern ghats. These are known as the eastern ghat, which are the hill ranges which covers or which borders the southern plateau from east, and towards the west they are covered by the western ghats. There are different hill ranges like Satpura and Vindhya ranges. These ranges separate the plateau from the northern plains. When we talk about these peninsular plateau, they are very important for us. They provide us different kind of minerals which we use in our daily life, which we use to make different things. Now let's talk about the importance of southern plateau. It is geologically very old and stable land, and therefore least affected by the tectonic disturbance or by tremors of earth. It is a storehouse of many mineral deposits like coal, iron ore, manganese, ore, mica, bauxite, and many other minerals are found in this plateau region. So this plateau region is a rich source of minerals. Now, the coastal plains. A coastal plain is flat, low-lying land adjacent to a sea coast. Some of the largest coastal plains are in Alaska and the southeastern United States. The coastal plains on both the sides of the southern plateau, there is a narrow strip of coastal plains. These areas are very populated. These areas are called the western coastal plains and eastern coastal plains. Towards the east of the peninsula, we have eastern coastal plains, and towards the west of the peninsula, we have the western coastal plains. These coastal plains are bordered than the western coastal plains as well as the eastern coastal plains. The climate here is neither too cold or not too hot. Means it is favorable for the settlement. The delta region is very important as this region is very famous for canals across the river tributaries. There are many minerals which are found here, which are used by people, as well as fishing is very important occupation of people living in the coastal areas. Finally, the island region. The Andaman and Nicobar Islands are located in the Bay of Bengal. They are bigger in size, while some of the islands are of volcanic origin. Others are submerged hill ranges. The southern part of India, called the Indira Point, is located in Great Nicobar Islands. Apart from the mainland, India has two island groups, Andaman and Nicobar Island, as well as these islands are and the Lakshadweep Island. These islands are a good attraction for tourists. People from different country, they visit these islands and enjoy their vacation here. These island regions, the southern part of India, called the Indira Point, as I said, it is located in the Great Nicobar Island. Here one picture of the island group is given, the island groups of India. You can see island is a land area which is covered by water from all its sides. This is all for the chapter today. I hope you all understood it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching. Do like, share and subscribe my channel. We'll soon meet with some more interesting videos from your EVS book. Till then, take care. Have a good day.